Welcome to Brush with Besties podcast.
Hey guys.
Happy Monday.
It is Monday. Yay.
Yes. I am Sherry Renee.
And I'm Chanel.
Our mission is to heal and help others as we heal and help ourselves through purpose-driven conversation.
Yep.
Today we are talking about non-negotiables.
We are.
But before we get into all that, we're going to start like we always do with a toast. So, Bestie, who are you toasting to today?
I'm going to give my toast to my coworkers today. Today was a really good staff meeting. Usually I'm like, staff meeting, like
staff smash.
Right. Don't really want to be there. But I think today we made a lot of good grounds. It was good to like really talk to each other about, goals and just how it's going in their classrooms, because I don't get to touch everybody and talk to everybody every day, but it was nice to get together. And then we played some fun games today, just like a lot of team building. And it felt good because I feel like this is the time of the year where you're just like, all right, we're done. Right. Wrap it up. We're done. So it was nice to touch base with everybody. And yeah, we had a good time. So that's what I'm giving my toast to, my coworkers, my colleagues, my staff. So yeah, shout out to y'all.
Shouts out to y'all. Go ahead and
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do your thing, boy.
Do your thing.
My toast is going to go to the group chat that keeps going off while we are recording. To my accountability group for we're intermittent fasting.
Okay.
So, shouts out to the group. Today is day 1.
Okay.
And they are checking in, wanting to know what was eaten for dinner and confirming that we are done.
Done. Just pass your time.
Water from here on
That's
out.
It. Don't pass go.
Do not collect $200.
Don't look in the cupboards or nothing.
So shouts out to them. And shouts out to, I'm sure that we will all be acting brand new after this is done.
There we go.
So, shouts out to that.
Yes, that's cracking. Yeah, shout out to the accountability group.
Absolutely. So let us break bread and check in. How are we doing?
We're doing good. I won't even complain. Mondays are not what they used to be. And it's really, that's a testament of just changing your mindset and changing the words that you speak. So, Mondays aren't like, it's Monday, like back to work. Like now we're like, oh yeah, it's like brunch with besties day. Like we're about to get it. Let's do this. And I really be pumped for Mondays now, which is so funny. And that just shows, like, if you change your mindset, if you change the words that you say, things will start to change. So I did get up super early. Again, my son has basketball practice at 6:15 in the morning. So we were up and it was dark. Darkness was around us.
Right.
So yeah, I'm just like, we are both going to crash. I know he's tired. I'm tired. But, all in a good day. So
yes,
I won't complain.
That's good. That's good. I too was up at the crack of dawn to witness the sunrise.
Listen.
But I was not out. I was in.
Woo.
But I was just up, getting my day started and getting ready.
There you go.
But I am doing well. I am not traveling this week, so I'm good about that.
That's
Can't
wonderful.
Say that for next week.
Right.
But for this week,
Listen.
I'm here. And
there we
it feels good to be grounded.
Yeah.
Just for a little bit. I felt like Thanksgiving went very good. I got to spend a lot of time with my family and friends. And,
nice.
Catch up with some people that I haven't seen in a while, reconnect, and all of that. So that was good.
Okay.
Make my famous dish.
Yes.
And yeah, it was good.
That is good. I didn't cook anything. And people kept asking me, like, so what are you cooking? I'm like, with these grocery prices, I am out. No thanks. But yes.
So I don't know. I just feel like this Monday I actually felt like usually the weekend just kind of blows by.
Yeah.
But having those extra days off. Well, I guess there was an extra 2 in there.
So. Yay. It helps.
But I feel like that should be a standard work week.
I
4
agree.
days off, 3 days on.
Like, who decided that we should work all of these days? I mean, I guess if you own your own company and stuff, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I don't know who came up with that. So stupid. But yeah. 4 days. No, 3 days on and 4 days off for me. It's good enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cray.
Yeah, for school and everything. Like, the kids don't even need to be here all this time. Like, no.
They can only learn a couple days. That's cool.
Listen, their parents got to teach the rest of the 4 days. We teach the 3 days. So I'm in agreement with that. That would be perfect.
Oh, and actually, we have an Ask a Bestie.
Oh,
we have a couple.
We have been asking and asking. Who asks people to ask them questions? Like, but then everybody has all these like full thesis after our shows. It's like, ask us the questions on Ask a Bestie so we can answer.
Like, people, they got questions.
They got questions.
The forum it's going other places.
Yes.
It shows up in the inboxes.
Yes.
Or other places.
So yay.
But it's okay.
We got some. I'm excited.
We
have 2. Yay. That's wonderful. I'm really excited about these questions.
You are really excited. One, of course, is from Queen B.
Okay.
Shouts out to Queen B.
Shout out to Queen B.
We can always count on her.
Queen B, the author.
The author.
Yes.
Authoress.
Authoress.
Okay, she says, what lesson has 2021 taught you that you will not, all caps, in OT, take into 2022?
That is, woo. Look, of course she would come with the hard question. Like, yes, that's a great question. And I'm sure we'll have a topic coming on that. Probably. We should talk about it more in a future episode as we wind down this year. But I think for me, 2021 taught me that life is short.
Yes.
And all the grievances that you may have or the words left unsaid, just don't live like that, because this is not a dress rehearsal. We get this one life, we get our one set of parents, and we should treat it as such. So to just live fully, and tell people you love them as often as you can, and don't go to sleep angry. So all of those things are things that I learned in 2021 that I will not take in 2022. Like, I really want to just live my life to the fullest.
I saw a post the other day. It was like, I hate when you tell somebody, like, if somebody asks you, like, oh, you still ain't talked to this person or that person, and you be like, no. And they be like, life is short. And they be like, exactly. That's why I'm not wasting my time.
That's one way to see it. That's funny. That is funny. But some people, you just got to cut them off and be good with that. Like, I release you, like, you out. So, there are people in our lives where we just got to leave them where they at. Like, it's okay. We don't need to reconcile here. Jesus, but
I think it depends on what you're true, like if you're okay with it, right?
If you're okay with it, right?
If you're really at peace, if you're not at peace with it, and then you wanna, like you said, you only got one set of parents and things like that. But if your parents is disturbing your peace, child,
hey, leave them where they are. That goes for anybody.
That is, but it's funny because when I was reading it, I didn't expect it.
Yeah, I was not expecting you to say that. I was like, what?
Huh.
But that is one way to look at it, and I'm not mad at whoever wrote that, man. Because some people will disturb your peace, and we not doing that in 2022.
That is hilarious.
Like, nah.
And I think that's what I'm not taking in 2022. Like, is not choosing me, right? Like, I won't sacrifice me for anything or anyone. So that is what I'm not taking. Of course,
that's wonderful.
There's more. She says, what goals are you setting for yourself, personal and professional, for 2022?
Okay, and it was a follow-up question? I love it.
Oh, and then Brittany has a similar question.
Okay. So goals.
What goals do you have that you're willing to share for the podcast for 2022? So both goal-related questions from two goal-oriented women.
Absolutely.
Shouts out to Brittany.
Yeah, shout out to Brittany. Yes, and the amazing Humphrey family. I'm going to say a personal goal is to definitely like get my health in check. And I don't want to be like, well, this is my New Year's resolution and I need to do this. I think I have started slowly as this year progressed. Like I will only drink water and that's it. Like I don't drink, alcohol and stuff like that. And I am very conscious about like how late I'm eating. So I think those small seeds have been planted to be like, okay, let's start here. But to actively work out, I think I need to change my mindset with that. So, the simple thing, like I said, like just talking about Mondays differently, like I need to talk about fitness and health a little differently and start to change my own mindset. We've tried to do it in groups and work out in groups and, doing classes and stuff like that, but it really starts with your own mind and you have to be willing to change your mind. So I think that's what I'm going to practice as we move forward into this new year. So that's personally. Professionally, that's funny because this has been on my mind a bit. I have been in education since 2013. And I'm starting to see, like, I don't know if I want to stay in education. I don't know if I want to move to tech or what I want to do. So I'm kind of at a crossroad. And shout out to Bridget, who's having her HR seminar soon. So hopefully I can find some answers.
She sure is.
As I attend that, because
and actually, we're going to link that in the show notes.
Yeah.
Because she is partnering with another amazing. So Bridget is an HR professional. She's partnering with another amazing HR professional. And last year, they was dropping all types of gems.
Yeah, I'm ready to receive.
To step up your professional game and figure out, what you can do to, sort of level up, you should definitely attend. So I'm going to go ahead and link that in the show notes.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I am professionally, just thinking to move or do like some type of change and where I am, because again, you only get this one life. So why not, choose to pursue many passions and hobbies that you have. I felt like for a long time, like, oh, I went to school for this, like I have to do this work. But that's not necessarily true, so I'm gonna figure those pieces out and what that looks like and try to hone in on some new skills and things like that. So if that means like taking some Google University classes online or, taking some different classes at MATC, those are the type of things that I would like to pursue as we move forward professionally.
That's good. That is good. Okay. So, my goals, I just got my planner for next year.
Your full of focus?
My full, girl, yes, honey.
Yeah,
I just got my full focus planner today.
Okay.
So I actually need to take some time and fill that out. And I'll have to get back to you guys after I attend Bridget's session. So, because I'm sure that after I meet with her that I'll probably get some insight and want to dial some things in or change some things. So we'll have to circle back on my goals. I have some things in my head, but
cool.
Y'all know how that goes.
I love it.
Are we ready for tea time?
I think we're about ready.
Okay, well let's do the tea time.
We're about that time.
It's about that time. So today we're talking about non-negotiables.
Okay.
So we're gonna start like we always do. Let's define it.
Yeah. So I was reading something earlier and it was just like non-negotiables are just the must-dos, like the things that you don't compromise on or budge on. Those are the things that you have to do. So that's my definition.
I agree with that statement, and of course I'm going to add to it. Right? I definitely think it's in the title, right? It's something that you're not willing to negotiate on. But I think that it is also a boundary that if it's crossed, it would require that you leave yourself. Right? It's a boundary that if I allow this to continue or if I allow this to happen, it would require that I abandon myself.
Yeah, you're not truly being who you are.
Because you're not being authentic to who you are.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. I would agree.
So let's go ahead and get started
with that. All right.
Now that we know at least what we're calling boundaries, y'all
Right.
can tell us what your definition is
for our own purposes.
But yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. What do you think one of your boundaries are?
A boundary. So
and let's also put this into context, because there could be boundaries as it relates to work,
sure,
relationships.
Yep.
Right? Just, there's all types of boundaries.
Yeah.
Professional boundaries.
Yeah. I think for me, and this is probably stemming from like a childhood trauma or something, or my dad issues, but I think for me, a boundary that I have is, don't tell me that you're going to do something and then you don't do it. For me, that is very triggering. And it could have come from my dad, because I remember like talking to him as a kid. He was like, "Oh, I'm going to come see you and we going to do all of these fun things." And then he would never come. So I really like honed in on that. And, when somebody does that to me, it's just like, oh no, like you didn't have to say you was going to do anything. Like I didn't ask you that.
Right.
So if you tell me that you're going to do something, then I'm going to expect that you do that. So that's a boundary for me.
So is it trauma, or is it just in alignment with your core beliefs and values and your own perspective? I mean, your traumas can certainly influence your perspective.
Sure. So I think it's that, like, that trauma influenced my perspective, because I think had those situations had not happened, I don't know if it would be as it is in the forefront of my head. But I always get that feeling too. Like it takes me back to that feeling of being let down, or this is not going to happen. So I think that interaction, that trauma did influence my perspective on, if you tell me you're going to do something and you don't do it, then no.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I feel like if, people do that to me and then they keep doing it and it happens, and that is taking me away from myself, because then I feel that anxiety. Like then I start to feel those feelings of being let down.
Then you have to abandon yourself.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's one of my boundaries.
So then what happens? What are the consequences, ramifications, implications when it happens?
So when it does happen, it's just like, it depends on who you are. So if it's like like my mom especially, is just like, I'll tell her, like, you didn't have to tell me that. Like, don't tell me that if you're not going to do it, or tell me what happened, which caused you not to do X, Y, and Z. Like, now I need some further information. So if it's that, then, I have that conversation with her and we go from there. In relationships, it looks like now I'm let down and I'm defensive. So maybe I have attitude, or like I'm going to move differently because now I feel like you've let me down. In the workspace, it looks like anxiety. And that happened to me today. Like, people are like, oh, I'm going to come and I'm going to cover this class for you, or I'm going to break you, or I'm going to do X, Y, Z. And then they don't do it. And it's just like, now I have this anxiety, because now I have to figure out the pieces that you weren't able to do. And for two, I didn't ask you this. You offered this, and then you didn't follow through.
Isn't that the worst though, when people volunteer stuff and they like put you in a predicament, and you're like, but this wasn't even an issue.
Right.
I didn't even ask for your help. Like, what the heck?
And now here I am.
Here we are.
So it looks differently in each of those realms. Like with family and friends, it might look a certain way, because then, I could ask questions like, okay, well, what happened? Like, why couldn't you do it? But in relationships, it looks very much like, you let me down. Now my guards are up. Now I can't trust you because you told me you was going to do something and you didn't do it. And I'm going to keep bringing this up every time you make me mad.
Boundaries.
Yeah. Boundaries. So, yeah, that's all the things. This is like a therapy session, like all the things that unfold as you're like talking out loud about this stuff. But yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's how I would say mine is.
I think one of mine are when people feign ignorance,
Okay.
like to general standards.
Mm.
You know, like, oh, I didn't know that cheating on you, would be hurtful.
Ow!
I didn't know that mocking your pain was
Oh my
mean,
gosh.
right? I didn't know that you expected me to be kind. You know what the problem is? You didn't communicate that.
Yeah.
Or like, I didn't know that the core competency of that you expect me to do the core competency of my job.
Crazy. That's a really good one.
Like I feel like it evades accountability.
Yeah.
So like one of my standards, right, is accountability.
Yes.
So I feel like when people do something or don't do something or whatever, and then they try to act ignorant about it, like I'd rather you just be like, damn, that was fucked up.
I messed up. Yeah.
Like, dang. All
right.
Right.
So.
But like the whole facade and then the bait and switch of trying to flip it on you, that's actually manipulation.
Oh yeah.
Right? Like, no, the problem is you didn't tell me that if we was in a relationship, you wouldn't cheat. See, now that I know that cheating's not okay, now I won't do that. Or now that I know that this is part of my job, even though it's in my title, now I'll do it. Right? I wasn't aware that you expected me to ship parts on time as your supplier. I did not know that. Even though there's a due date, it's in the contract. And I signed it. And we review metrics every week. I didn't know. Those are the things that really like piss me off because it's just look.
And that like you said, that accountability
the
piece,
lack of accountability.
Yes, that's hand in hand.
Yes. Like if you want to know what grinds my gears, feign ignorance.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Feign ignorance. If you really want to get under my skin, not even get under my skin, but if you really want to cross the line.
Listen,
because again, it's non-negotiable.
And that's taking me out of myself. Like I'm not even me.
Because now I do feel like I have to abandon myself because now I have to go and explain. You're forcing me, or you're trying to force me to explain something that's very elementary to you. And I don't believe that you're that ignorant. Now I will say this. There are some cases where I'm like, and shouts out to Toyana because 10 years ago, she told me this. There was something, I don't remember what happened, right? But I was like, kind of like venting to her. And I was like, I mean, isn't this the obvious outcome? If this person did this, don't they expect this to happen? And she was like, well, no, some people literally don't think things through. You think things through. Everybody doesn't do that, right? And I was like, you know what? You're right.
Yeah.
So there are some cases where I'm like, you know what? I can kind of give some room for grace in certain areas, but when people outright feign ignorance, like, oh, I didn't know that being mean was hurtful.
Right.
Like, what?
Are you a human?
That doesn't make sense.
How did you not
I didn't know that even though the contract says I'm supposed to do this, that me not doing it is a breach. Like, you will read.
It's very simple.
Be accountable to the things that you're supposed to do. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
But because I feel like when people evade accountability, then you force me to be accountable.
Absolutely. For you and for me.
And then when I have to be accountable for you and me, I'm going to do it in the way that serves me.
Yeah.
And that might be severing the contract.
Yeah.
Or the relationship or whatever, because I can't work with it. I don't know what to work with here.
Yeah.
There's like, what else can I do? Because now you're wanting me to teach you something that's elementary, and it's actually not even my responsibility. And I'm unwilling to do things that I'm not responsible for because you have completely evaded accountability, and now you're trying to evade responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's something that I cannot tolerate, and that's why it's a non-negotiable.
Woo! Yeah, no, because but it is, and I kind of chuckled when you said it, and it's not funny, but it's crazy that people will do this.
Listen to when people talk to you.
They will do
Listen to what people say.
Yeah.
Literally listen. Don't speak, because when you speak, you can't hear.
Yep.
But like me, I really listen to people when they talk. I ask follow-up questions because I'm like, I want to make sure that I understand what you just said.
Listen, there's a cycle of communication.
Right.
Make sure it's
going. You gotta hear people. And then I'm just like, and I'm not even gonna argue with you on it. Because look, I can't engage. Some things I can't engage with.
Yeah.
Because again, I have to abandon myself.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
I had no clue. You never told me.
What? Like,
you never told me.
Oh gosh.
You know, like the general common courtesies of life.
You never told me.
Relationship implies commitment.
Hey, listen.
I didn't know that you wanted faithfulness.
Hey.
Even though I expect you to be faithful.
Right. But me,
I
don't know.
I didn't know that. I didn't know
it's kind of great
that having sex with another woman was going to ruin our relationship.
Right.
I did not
know. I didn't know.
Maybe if you would have communicated it,
right,
then I would have known.
Or even with the contract, like I didn't know I had to supply these parts in the contract that I read and signed and delivered
I didn't
back
know
to
that.
you.
I wasn't aware.
Right.
But now that I know, no one's ever communicated this to me, and I'm like, interesting, because you re-signed the same contract this many times. I don't understand. Here it is. We do this every month. I don't make it make sense.
Because I can show you literally where it is.
So yeah, and like I said, I think the reason why, right, if we get into the root of it, is because of accountability is really big for me.
Yes.
And I think that, I don't know that that's a trauma, but I will say that that was certainly how I was raised. Like my mother was definitely one, because my brother is the same way, definitely will hold you accountable. And my dad, with him, his past of having drug addiction, these are the things that I remember him saying when he was trying to explain things to me. Is he was like, I kept doing it because people were not holding me accountable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And when you don't hold people accountable, they keep doing. He said I would sit there with the judge and I would cry and I would say whatever I needed to say. And he said, and my mama would come, your grandma would come and be sitting and be like, Judge, I didn't raise them, but I don't understand. None of the other kids are like this. I have 11. Okay, it makes sense.
Listen, they would set him free.
Exactly. And he would do say whatever he had to say, do what he had to do. And he said he would literally be sitting there in his head thinking, yep, I got $2,000 here, $5,000 there, thinking about how he was going to smoke it up. See? Or who he was going to, manipulate to get what he needed to get. It's some manipulation.
Yeah.
Right? And so it is that. And one thing that he told me was, he was like, because of all the stuff that he did, he was like, I have to be accountable for that. So when people don't trust me, when people say stuff about me, that's who I was. So he was like, I have to sit here and take it until the time passes where I can show people, right? Because he was like, I have to fix it. I can't just say, sorry is not good enough.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry doesn't actually fix anything.
Yeah.
It's not until I make, and maybe this is, part of the sobriety, right, is making amends.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You got to stand in it, and like he said, he has to own up to it.
And that was a big part of his recovery, was owning it.
Yeah. And that in itself is a huge cross to carry, like to stand it.
And that's what he always say, because he'd be like, I remember that I asked him,
wow,
whatever made you do that? Because remember, I gave him everything. So I was like, well, because he was in the army, so it was the war. But honey, what war?
Listen, what?
He wasn't in no war.
I mean,
but look.
How was your dad? Was he in Vietnam?
Girl, first of all, no.
Yeah,
okay, my daddy is younger than my mama. Okay, let's start with that.
He was in the Persian War. I mean, the Gulf War.
He wasn't in no war.
So he didn't even go.
He wasn't in no war. Okay, again, there was no war. So, because I was like, all the pressure and the anxiety, and blah blah blah. But no, he literally said no. And this is him owning it. He didn't say this person did this. He said, I had a God complex.
Wow.
I was young. I was making a lot of money. I thought I was invincible. He said that when the job that he worked at, they literally called him his name, the God.
Wow.
He said that's what he made people call him. And he said that because he was like the number one salesperson. So they he was the number one seller. Right? And so they gave him all the perks and all this and all that, right? And then he said that people was getting hooked on it. And he used to tell them, like, man, you stupid. You got to be a fool to get hooked on that stuff. right? The judgment.
So he thought he was above.
He thought he was above it.
The addiction.
He thought he was above the addiction.
Wow.
And then somebody said, try it. And he did it one time.
So
and that one
time
changed the entire trajectory of not only his life, but my life, my brother's life, the grandkids' life, my mama's life, his mama's life. Yeah. I mean, it just looked.
Domino effect. Man.
But he stood in that and said, it was me. He didn't say, oh, this happened, or I didn't know. No, you knew because I know that you knew that you knew because you mocked
the people that were
that were addicted. Yeah. So you definitely knew. Right? But he didn't sit there and say, oh, I didn't know, or I didn't mean it, or no, I meant it, I said it, I did it. This is what happened. Wow. I thought I was above it because I was so full of myself. I had a God complex.
Yeah. Talk about years and years of accountability that you have to make up for.
And he was like, when people don't trust me, when people don't, he was like, now some people be like, I can't believe it. He'd be like, I can't believe it either.
It's you.
I can't believe this either. Okay.
It's really you. Yes, it's me. Wow.
But, and I will say too, I think that's what taught me was effective, right? Is owning it, because when you have excuses, you don't got to change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like when you feign ignorance, you're going to do it again. Whatever the boundary was, you crossing that thing again because you don't keep feigning ignorance because I was accountable to your mess.
Yeah.
There was no responsibility.
None.
You had to clean nothing up.
None.
So now it belongs to me. So now that I'm forced to be accountable because you refuse to, I'm going to do it in the way that works for me.
And that it only makes sense. Like this accountability works for me now. It makes sense to me.
I wanted you to be accountable, but
since you weren't,
right,
I will handle it.
But since you were, there was something that I listened to. Oh, it was Judge Faith. Her book. Don't settle.
Sis don't settle. I'm about to say, hey sis.
Shout out to Judge Faith Jenkins.
Yes, shout out to her,
my girl. But in any case, she was telling the story of how she was like using her boyfriend's computer or something to do some work, and she emailed something to herself or to him, but that she was trying to work on. And so she went to open it, but she saw all of these inappropriate messages. And she said
on his computer.
And she said the boyfriend cried and did the most. Okay. And I'll never do it again, or I didn't know. All, feigning ignorance. And she was like, y'all know he did it again.
No, because there was no accountability.
Right. There was no accountability.
Because accountability was left and I didn't know.
I didn't know. Because you only sorry because you got caught.
Absolutely. Because if you had not, you would have still been texting and sexing and everything else.
And everything in between, child.
Man. Woo. Yeah. No, accountability is very huge. And I agree. I agree to all of that.
So give us another one.
So another boundary or another non-negotiable?
Non-negotiable, because that's what we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Even though they're all related.
They are all related. So a new, and I was telling y'all about this the other day, and just new for me is just a new non-negotiable that I have is just my house has to be clean. And I don't know if it's because I moved and now I'm like really in my own space. And it's funny because if y'all know me, you really know me, like I'm very messy. Me and messy used to be synonyms, but not no more. But yeah, like I cannot leave my house if things are out of place. Like if a cabinet is open or the counter needs to be white, like if I see something, like it's gonna bother me until it's fixed. And that's especially true for when my son is at home. I'm just like, no, we got to clean up. Like, I can't let him slide. Like this morning, I'm like, go make up your bed. Like, is your bed made up? And, growing up, my mom didn't really make me make up my bed. Like when I was little. And if I did, I probably like half-assed it. Like just, but no, like we really making beds and I cannot function if my space is not clean. So yeah, that's one of my non-negotiables right now. Like if you come to my house, like, tidy up. It's like we not doing that over here. So, use the cup, rinse it out, throw it in the dishwasher, start that joint. Like I'm really, and maybe because it is this new house that I live in, but I'm really like, nope, can't function in this. Like if something's out of place, like I really be like anxious about it.
Right. So where does that come from? How does it serve you?
It serves me because it's peaceful. And that's something. My cousin was here recently for a funeral, and she spent the night at my house. And when she left, she was like, "Yeah, I'm just sharing some gratitude. Like, your house is so warm and so peaceful." And that's what I strive for. And not saying that my homes were chaotic before,
right?
Because they weren't.
They were not chaotic.
They were not chaotic at all.
That's funny.
But I feel like this is just the season that I'm in. Like, I want my house, and I want to feel comfortable, and I want it to feel peaceful. And that's what I'm striving for. And she was just only there for a night visiting, and she said the same thing. So that's the purpose of it. Where it came from is growth. Growing up, I used to be so messy. Like, my mama will tell you that, like, girl, like, I would have to take 3 or 4 times to clean a room, like, get the stuff together. But as I'm getting older, like, cleanliness is really important to me. Like, just everything about it. Not saying I was like a slut. This probably sounds terrible, like, girl, you nasty, but whatever. So yeah.
So you increase your standard when it comes to cleanliness. It doesn't mean that you were messy,
yes,
or unclean.
It
just means that you are cleaner. You are more clean.
Yeah. So, like, stuff like that, like stuff like those little beads you put in the washer, like stuff like that excites me now. Like, I really be happy to see
I think that's the clean talk.
It is. Clean talk definitely got to me. Like, scrubbing my shower, like, stuff be cracking. Like, I really like it. I was watching a video the other day, like, how to take apart my dishwasher to clean out the filter thing.
I'm scared that I'm gonna see the dirt and I'm gonna be like, oh my god.
Yeah, it probably is nasty, because I'm like, when the next person move in, like, do they clean that out? Probably not. So it's probably disgusting, and that's probably why it be like stinky sometimes in there. So I'm cleaning mine to see. So yeah, I'm like, yep. So that's one of my non-negotiables right now, which I think is really serving me. And if anybody comes in my space, like, I feel like they fall in line too. Like, my son has 2 houses, so he comes from one to the other. And some stuff that he might do at his dad's house, you're not doing that over here. Like, you're not eating in your room. We don't take dishes in there. We don't take food there. This is where we eat.
He be sneaking and eating in there.
Girl, he at home right now, probably eating a 4-course meal in his
just
bed.
To spite you. Okay, he is there. He ain't even eating. He just got food in there, just out. Okay,
a mess. I would not put it past him, because my son is definitely me when I was little, like, just careless, throwing stuff everywhere. But yeah,
he like, no food, huh?
Okay, listen,
I got you.
Got my chips right. He probably having a good time. But yeah, so just trying to grow up and have peaceful in my space, because I think that's something else that I learned in 2021 and 2020. Your house should be very peaceful. And if we know anything, like with the shutdowns and things that happened where we were confined pretty much to our homes, like, I wanted to feel like peace. I wanted to feel good and comfortable, and I want to have clean sheets and, clean floors and all of that stuff. So yeah, I think that's all where that came from. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. What's another non-negotiable that you got?
Plenty.
It's a plenty.
One. I say for me, not feigning ignorance either.
There we go.
Right? Like, the stuff that I noticed, like, I feel like I'm responsible for the information that I have.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because if not, then there's no advantage to having the information.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, I forget the quote, but it talks about, it was like a literacy quote, and it talked about the advantage of being literate is being able to acquire more knowledge. So it's like, why would you act like you don't have it? So the things that I know, like some decisions and stuff, like, I can't do that because I know better, right? Mm-hmm. Like, I have information, I have data that suggests that this is not a good idea, right?
Gotcha.
That's as far as, going certain places, doing certain things, talking to certain people, dating certain men. It's just like, I just can't.
Speak on that.
I just can't, because I know.
You know
right?
better.
I already know.
Yeah.
So I too cannot feign ignorance, right?
Because it's not gonna serve you.
It's not gonna
like
serve
the next
me.
part.
And then I gotta abandon myself.
Absolutely.
Yet again.
Yeah.
So, and then too, it's for me, it's also about making use of everything in the past, right? The good, the bad, the ugly, learning from all of those things. And the best teacher is unfortunately usually pain and
Yeah.
trauma, right? So if I know better, it's time to do better, or at least better than.
Better than.
At least
better
make
than yesterday.
like better than yes. Like, can I at least make an incremental improvement? But we're not gonna do the same thing again.
No, we can't.
We can't do that.
We cannot. No.
So yeah, so I think that feigning ignorance, it grinds my gears when people do it to me, but also if I were to do it to myself.
Oh yeah.
Like, because I am definitely very big on. I read everything. I research everything. That doesn't mean I know it all. But what I am saying is I have a lot of information.
Yeah.
That I cannot pretend and act like I don't have. That's why, like, for me, once I learn something or I see something, I can't unlearn it. I can't, like, some things I choose to unlearn.
Yeah.
Right. But if there's knowledge or information, I'm not going to act like it doesn't exist and then just make a flippant decision that I know won't serve me.
Yeah.
Or those around me, for that matter.
And on top of that, like, you choose to take the time to learn, like we all can. Like, we all have the capacity to learn and the time to learn. So when you feign ignorance, it's like, but you had you could have learned it just like I did. Like, why are you acting like you don't know when you probably do? But in any case, like, you can learn this as well.
Right. But and I think that, again, it goes back to accountability.
Yeah.
I feel like the need to hold myself accountable. Right. So that, and actually, that's why when, like, let's say I do know something, right? And I'm like, oh no, I talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
I choose, because I made a choice, to talk myself out of it. And I'm like, no, I'm going to do this anyway, or I'm going to give this person a chance anyway, or whatever. And then it turns out to be what I already knew that it was. I'd be like, you knew that.
Said, my gut told
you.
So
you can't even be mad at them. Be mad at you.
Yeah.
Be mad at yourself because you had the information. You knew exactly what it was, and you made this decision.
Yes.
So here we are.
And they say that you gotta listen to your gut, because your body gonna tell you.
Your body,
even if you want to fake like you don't remember.
You want to act like, right, but most of the time I be known.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, I'm like, no, maybe they changed, or maybe this is different, but it's like, nope.
Yeah.
Right. And so, again, no feigning ignorance on my end either, because what we don't do is be accountable to our actions.
Exactly.
Okay.
You knew it all along.
You signed up on the dotted line, and now you got to cash the check that you wrote.
Hey, listen. Yes.
So here we are.
Here we go. Man, no, that's good. I'm trying to think of some of my other non-negotiables that I have, especially when it comes to dating and relationships. So for me, right now, in the space that I'm in right now with dating and relationships, the non-negotiable for me is going to be small children. Like, if this man has small children, and by small children, I mean like 5 and under. Because I feel like, for me personally, that's really new. It's a new experience as a parent. I feel like the first 5 years with your child is so important. It's very foundational, those first 5 years. So it's hard to, in my head, I'm thinking like, how are you removed from this child? Like, you can be the best of parents. That's fine. You're a great parent. But for me, it's like, that child needs that foundation of both parents. So in my head, I'm like, I cannot date a man who has children that are 5 and under. And a lot of that stems just from experiences that I've had dating men who had young kids and what came with that and of that.
What comes with that?
Ooh, Jesus. One of the things that comes up is, and I saw a meme like this too, where it was just like, it was something like, tell her and don't come around my kid. And the message at the bottom was like, I don't care about your kid anyway, or something like that. But that comes with it. Like, you know, one of the parents is going to be very defensive. Like and as you should, because again, I'm a parent too. So you don't want anybody around your child.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think that the other parent needs to also, you know, be in on that. Like, is this the appropriate time for me to date? Like, is this the right move? Like, should I be introducing this person to my child? So I think that comes with it, just that, you know, that gray area of when you have a child and when to introduce that child and the other parent. Also, attachment comes with that. Kids who are 5 and under get very attached.
They do, and it'd be so hard to leave kids under 5.
It is,
but I will.
Listen, in a heartbeat, you hear me?
It'd be hard, but
it is very difficult. Yes, it is really hard because they're so attached to you, and they, you know, they want to know where you are, what you're doing. Like, I want to play, like all of those things. They want to hug you. And then when the relationship goes south, it's just like, oh, I wonder what that kid is doing. Like, you still think about them, like, dang.
They never learned their ABCs.
Right. Are they good? They know the color and stuff, memories to color. So those things come with that, like just the attachment of a child. Because I feel like as old as my son is, he just be like, all right, like next, what are we doing, Mom? And then also just the, you know, the uneasiness of, is that relationship really over with? Because 5 years, like a kid that's like 2, like this is new. Like this is a brand new human, an infant, very much so. This is too new.
Right, you still count that kid's age in months.
Exactly. So it's just like, how is the foundation?
That child is 137 weeks old.
Listen here. Listen, we still got numbers and weeks for you. Like, you are too fresh. So all of those things come along with that. And for me, and I feel confident in saying that. And before, I think maybe a couple of years ago, like I would feel bad about saying that. Like, well, you got a kid. Like, who are you to tell somebody like, no, like you can't date them? But I think based on the experiences that I've had, and just me being a parent, being a mom, and understanding like when my kid was, you know, 2 months or 2 years old or 4, like I wasn't ready to be with somebody. Me personally, I was not ready. Like, I was still salty about the relationship that had ended. So I couldn't imagine putting myself in that situation again, especially again, because I work with kids every day. I love kids. So I'm not going to get attached to your child and then unfortunately like things don't work. And to be honest, I mean, that can happen if you have a 10-year-old to 10, 12, maybe not teens. They don't be caring, but you know,
the teen is happy. They like,
right.
No.
They'll be like, all right, just, you know, when you come home. So yeah, I think it can happen at any age after 5, but for me, just 5 and under is so young and so impressionable, and I just I couldn't do it to myself or to that person or, you know, to that person's other parent as well. So yeah.
Do you think, and I mean, I'm not a parent, right? So understand that. That's the asterisk.
Every time you say that, now think about your form. Funny. Oh my God.
Because that form was very one-sided. I was like, first of all, I'm nobody's parent. Let's get that straight. But I'm going to answer this question. I'm just going to put this asterisk here.
I am weak. Oh my God.
So sometimes I wonder, right? And obviously this is not true for all cases, but when people are dating and their kids are that young, I'm always thinking like, are you thinking about your child? Right? Like, are you thinking about you or are you thinking about your child? Like, is this what your child needs right now? Because, you know, not as far as dating, but as far as introducing them.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah. For sure.
Because this could be a trauma that your child has to carry for the rest of their life, right? If this becomes a normal cycle or a normal pattern. So what are you displaying to your child? How is your child interpreting this? How do they make sense out of this? And then what are you teaching them about love? What are you teaching them about commitment? What are you teaching them about relationships? So, yeah, that's kind of what I be thinking. I don't necessarily have answers, but those are certainly my questions when I witness those things.
For sure.
Because, you know, my preference is guys with no kids.
With 0. And valid, because if I ain't got kids, hey.
But it's not a non-negotiable.
Gotcha.
It is a preference.
It's a preference. Gotcha.
There's a difference.
There is a difference. I'm glad you brought that up. There is a difference.
There is a difference.
Yes. But yeah, mine is definitely a non. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I cannot.
Preference just means that you like something over something else. So
Mm-hmm.
I would prefer a guy
no
with
children.
No children. Probably over a guy with children.
And it's so fun. Well, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic, but it's funny because I don't even think I want to date a guy with 0 kids though. Like, cause then you gonna expect me to have another kid, and that's out.
But that's only if he wants to have kids.
That's true. If he wants to have children, but if he does, it's just like, nah, cause I don't want to hold you, sir. If you want to have children,
do your thing.
Hey, she ain't it. No. That's funny. But yeah. I agree. Yeah. So the children 5 and under is a dating non-negotiable for you, girl.
Yeah. I have so many. I don't know. I'm like, where should I go with this? Should we go dating?
What's another dating one? What's a dating one you have since we're here?
Since we're here. That they hold me accountable.
Nice.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, just the same way that I don't want to put up with people BS, I don't want people putting up with mine either.
There you go.
know? Like, hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Say the thing, hold me accountable to the thing. If I'm not being accountable to the thing, call me out on not being accountable to the thing.
Mm.
That's good. And have your own set of standards,
mm-hmm.
Because I like to see where we align with standards and values. So it's always interesting to learn how people perceive certain things because it tells you so much more about who they are.
It does, yeah.
So,
it does.
So yeah, have some standards. Hold me accountable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm with the holding me accountable piece too.
Because I ain't gonna give you them passes. So if you're giving me passes, I ain't gonna give you them passes.
Like, it ain't gonna work both ways now. Just your way, not mine though.
And honestly, if I feel like you're giving me passes, I'm gonna leave because I'm gonna be like, this ain't gonna work.
Right. Like, you just let me do whatever.
Because that doesn't serve me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna stay the same. Like, I don't want iron sharpens iron. So you ain't gonna sharpen me, but you're probably dulling me. So that means it's probably me holding you accountable and not. There's no reciprocity, right. Which brings me to another one, which is reciprocity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's really big because what I don't want is to feel like I'm engaged or involved in something that's one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm saying reciprocity because I need the sharpening to be equal.
Yeah, on both sides.
Right. There might be sometimes where I'm just sharpening you. There might be sometimes where you're just sharpening you. But damn, the sharpening.
It's happening. Hey, one way or the other.
It needs to happen.
Yes. No, that's
good. If it's not happening, then I'm going to literally become dull sharpening you.
Mm.
So, because now it's just that is draining, that is depleting, and
where are we going? Like,
nowhere.
What are we doing?
Nowhere.
Right.
Because I can't be my highest self because I'm being weighted down, right? And reciprocity is so big because it's impossible to keep giving, right? Without anything being returned. And it's crazy because this one time I found myself saying, like, at least just don't be against me. At least just don't be against me. Then I thought about it when I heard myself, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not good enough. I don't want people to just not be against me. Be for me.
Right. Yeah, I was like, whoa.
What kind of low standard is that?
Right.
Be for me.
Right.
Because if the minimum is that you
against,
just ain't against me, then this don't serve me.
That's a slippery slope.
This ain't going to work.
Yeah.
So be for me.
Yes, be for
That's
me.
why it's got to be reciprocity. Because I
good.
need you to be for me.
Yes, be for me.
Cheer me on.
Cheerleaders, yes, champion, all that.
Hold me accountable.
Yes.
Right. Inspire me. All of that.
That's dreaming. Yes, all of those things.
Because
be all of those.
Right. Because again, it's
and both sides, because I'm gonna give you that too.
Well, I'm gonna naturally do that because that's who I am.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So if that's not who you are, or if you can't be that to me, then that's fine. go be that to whoever you can be that to.
Sure. And that's okay.
Right. That's going to be okay. Don't mean you're not a good person, blah, blah, blah. But it does mean that this ain't going to work. And it does mean that, again, I have to abandon myself. And that's why it's a non-negotiable. Because it's draining me. I have to not be the highest version of myself.
Okay.
And that's what I'm willing to tolerate.
No, I like that. Yeah, and I think another one for me too is kind of along those lines of just, allowing me to not be so hard, if that makes sense. Like, I want to feel soft or
vulnerable?
Feel like, yeah, there we go. I want to feel vulnerable. I want to feel like if I don't have it all together, like you'll be there to help or to assist or, and I think that's coming with age too, and just the more that I'm single and, thinking about past relationships and the things that I would like and the things that, I didn't like, just learning those different lessons that came with that. I think for me is, just being truly vulnerable where I could take the masks off and, let myself cry and all of those things. So
that brings me to trust, honey.
Hey.
Because I can't be vulnerable if I don't trust you.
Hand in hand again. Hand and hand. They go together like PB&J.
Trustworthiness, right? Like, and you learn that from how people talk about other people, right? How guys talk about their other friends. Like, if you telling me about your friends and you gossiping about them,
you
telling me all of their secrets,
and then I
know all of their business,
right?
Right, that means you don't respect boundaries.
Because I don't know them. Like, why are you telling me?
And you might think like, oh, she's not going to tell anybody. Okay, but the problem is not that I'm not going to tell anybody. The problem is that they trusted you, not me.
Yeah.
Their trust, the burden is actually on you. Now, it's actually none of my business, right? So if you don't respect their privacy and their boundaries, then you probably won't respect mine.
Absolutely not. Yeah. Hand in hand.
Or if you're judgmental about their situation, you're telling me about it, I'm like, I don't know if you're trustworthy.
That's good. That's good. I like that, trustworthy too. Because you need that.
I saw something on TikTok the other day, and the guy was like, FYI, ladies, and you call your girlfriend and you tell her all your business, as soon as you get off the phone, I'll be like, oh, they husbands, they boyfriends be like, who was that?
What happened? Funny.
For real. Guys are messy though.
Yes. Yeah, that was on TikTok. I think you shared that in our group. Like, yeah. Girl, yes, the husbands and the boyfriends wanted the tea. Like, so what happened?
And they'll go get the other AirPods so they can listen in or put her on speaker. And it's like, okay, but here's the problem with the whole trust. Where's your integrity?
Right.
Because clearly she doesn't know that she's on speaker. She doesn't know that you're telling him all the business. And I mean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you're making a decision with this person's, with something that's very vulnerable to them.
Yeah.
So where's your integrity?
Right. Yeah.
She didn't call him. She didn't call your sister. She didn't call your cousin. She didn't call your other friend.
Those videos were true.
She didn't call your coworker. She called you.
Because the men were absolutely like thirsty for the tea. Like,
sir,
what she say? Like,
okay,
you gonna tell me? Crazy. Yeah, that's definitely a non-negotiable for me. Because in my head, like,
and because at that point it's for sport.
It is,
right? It's like,
and why do you care?
Off of whatever this person is going through.
Yeah, that's gonna make me look at you differently as a man. Like, why you in my business?
And why you telling everybody's business?
Right, like,
and especially when you a man.
Right. So, like, red flag. Like, no, sir, you in my business and you in my friend's business, and I don't like that. So
and well, what that really means is that I can't tell you nothing because you go, everybody's gonna know.
Right. Like, oh yeah, that would be awful. Because that would be the friend you like, can't tell them. They
Can't
tell their
tell
man. And no,
Right.
that's all.
Child.
That is funny. Yeah, those videos are hilarious though, because the dudes were geeked to get the information, and the chick is like making it up, like, yeah, girl, oh my god, like making
That,
it
yeah,
juicy.
that was funny. And nobody would want to show what happened? Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Put it on Bluetooth. And he got the AirPod. I'm like, this is so messy.
That is crazy. I love it. I love it.
Sometimes some men I think are more.
You gotta say it. Say it.
Some men like drama.
They do.
Even
men
more
are
than
messy.
women. I swear, I'm like, what?
Men can be very
Because when I
messy.
tell you, if you ever really look, the
men can be so messy, messier than some women.
I swear.
So, yeah.
Because they'll sit back, observe, and listen to everything and catch it all. Okay, don't miss a beat.
Listen, because they're so unsuspecting. Like, you don't
they're
expect them
unsuspecting
to be
That's
messy.
what it is.
And they be
wolves in sheep's clothing.
The messiest. Oh my gosh! Like,
it ain't nothing worse than a messy man, child.
I'm out. Like, I don't like that. Like, gossipy men. That's like a turnoff.
It is.
Like, why are you talking about chick stuff? Like, this is weird. Like, what are you doing?
They're the undercover gossips, though.
Listen, you ain't lying. I mean, they are. Some men are.
Some of them are. Some of them are.
Men. That's like a whole thing. But yeah, I think in the workspace, another non-negotiable for me is, at least for me, like feeling like rushed. Like anything that brings on anxiety for me is like tough. And I just
it's a non-negotiable.
Maybe it's a preference, because maybe non-negotiable is kind of extreme. Because I think I would still be myself and be able to perform it myself. So maybe not a non-negotiable. But I will say a non-negotiable is not getting the credit that I deserve in the workspace.
Say more on that.
And I think with that, I am learning to kind of step up and stand in my leadership that I am in currently. And before, I would kind of just like be in the shadows, or like kind of just do what I can to, because, you know, this is what I'm supposed to do. But I think now it's like I'm doing so much that I do want the respect. I do want the acknowledgement. I do want you to see the hard work that I've done. And I'm expecting that, you know, that gratitude from you of the work that I've done. So I think, you know, and it took me a long time, and maybe it's the organization that I work for and the environment that I am in that, you know, I am being poured into. So I think I'm glad I learned that at my organization, because whenever I leave that organization, then I'll keep that with me to be like, no, like I am worthy and capable in this space that I'm in. And I need you all to see that and respect that.
Good.
Yeah.
I like that. You said, look, you don't give me my accolades, okay?
Listen, I've been working hard.
Give me my credit.
Listen here. I need to know.
Right. No, that's good.
So, yeah.
That's good. I don't feel that.
Okay.
Homework. Child, look, let me tell you. Actually, this one goes for personal and work. I do not like last minute invitations.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I don't send me a meeting request for the same day, right? Like unless literally all hell has broken loose.
Yeah,
it is actually urgent, and I mean I'm talking about urgent for me, not for you.
Not for you. Listen.
But even in my personal life, I would prefer if things are planned out, you know, just because sometimes I spread myself thin. So it has nothing to do with people. It's really why non-negotiable for me is how I choose to manage my time. So for me, if it's not on my calendar, I'm not coming, right? It really needs to be on my calendar.
Because you will throw something on somebody's calendar in a minute.
If we agree to do it or go or be or whatever, then I'll put it on there because That's what I need. That's what will get me to go.
And it's
'Cause
helpful.
not-
it works for me too.
If not, I won't be there.
Exactly, because I'll be like,
So if I'm supposed to, it's how I make myself accountable to whatever I committed to.
Yeah.
Right.
Got to
So, I know, like, so for example, okay, at work, I don't like last minute meeting invitations. I don't like when there's no agenda, and I don't like when there's no purpose.
Ooh,
because I need to understand why I'm here.
Because this could have been an
people
email.
will invite you to meetings, and I'll be sitting there on the call for no reason.
Like, what? Y'all don't even need me
you don't
here.
Need, or send, CC me on the notes because I don't care. Or maybe you didn't know that I moved to a new role or whatever. I don't know. But in any case, so when people do that, I respond and say, I'm a little bit more lax in this role because I'm still trying to learn different things. And they don't know me yet. So
it's coming.
Some of them do, but it's coming.
It's coming.
But in my old role, especially when my entire team got taken away, so I was just.
It hasn't been a year yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
it has been. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so like in my old role, I was kind of left holding back because the entire team got left. So I was getting. I'm talking meetings on top of meetings on top of meetings. I'm talking from 6 a.m. to about 8 p.m.
Oh my gosh!
There's, we got other markets.
Yeah.
Right, and I'm like, what's going on in China right now? I don't know. I don't know. That's not because it wasn't my job. Somebody else was doing it. So it was just impossible for me to get any work done.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to work all day.
No.
That's what we're not doing. So I literally would decline, or I would respond and say, please send an agenda and the purpose for the meeting and what the expectation is for me.
Yeah.
Right, because I need to understand if I really need to be here or not. Like I'm trying to manage my time and my priorities. And then too, sometimes I just wouldn't go. Right, if you schedule the meeting over, that's what I really hate. When people schedule meetings over meetings, you can see my calendar. If you schedule a meeting over my meeting, then I think that I'm not the most important person there, right? It's just like, well, if you can attend, if your meeting happens to end early, go ahead and join, right? So if you schedule a meeting over my meeting, I'm going to my own meeting.
Right.
And then like people try to ping me in or do something, like, first of all,
that's not like etiquette.
Let's just be clear. Like, I didn't accept your meeting because I'm not coming. So that you knew I wasn't coming when I declined it. That's number one. Number two, what's your agenda? Number three, why do you need me here? And number four, you saw that I wasn't available. So if you want me there, schedule it when I'm available, or ask me, hey, is it possible, something came up urgent, can you move? I see that you're busy at this time. Is there any way you can rearrange some things? We really need you there for this purpose, blah, blah, blah. I'm very happy to accommodate. But when you just do it and then I'm not there, don't be surprised when I don't want to hear no flack for me not being there because I'm not coming.
That sounds, I don't know, in my head, like that seems like a courtesy, like an etiquette. Like, why would you send me your meeting request during my meeting? You can see my calendar, right, bro.
And I mean, sometimes there's more people on the meeting, so it could just be like, well, the majority of the people are free during this time.
Okay.
Right. But my assumption is, you saw that I'm busy,
right?
So I must not be the most important. No, you can still invite me, but you should understand. Like for me, I'm thinking, well, I must not be the most important person there, right?
Right.
Because you're focusing on. You decided that it was okay to schedule it during that time when I'm not.
Because you can visibly see that I'm unavailable.
Because it says that I'm not available, I will not be available. Right?
That's crazy.
Because that's literally the whole purpose of the calendar.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm real quick to be like, I don't see an agenda. Won't be able to do it because I need to understand why am I here. I'm not here to listen to you think about what you want to. Be prepared. Tell me what it is. I'm going to come because I might come real quick for the first 15 or the last 15 or the last 30 or whatever and go. And we don't have time to just sit around. There's a whole lot going on. And the other thing that I like to do is have a blocked uninterrupted time. So I will literally block my calendar and I'll turn off everything.
I'm good.
Not responding to no text messages, no phone calls, no pings.
That's good.
No emails. All the ways that you can contact me, I'm turning it all off because I'm like, I just want to focus and get the things done. Because every morning I set my goals for the day for the things that I want to get done. So that's certainly a priority. And in my personal life, like I said, if it's not on the calendar, I'm not coming. And I'm not asking you to put it on my calendar. I'm just asking for advanced information so that I can put it on my calendar.
Right? So I can be there.
So I can be there because that's how I manage my time.
Absolutely.
And shouts out to Lena because ever since the day I told her that, she always be like, "Is it on your calendar? Did you put it on your calendar?"
That is funny,
right? Because she understands boundaries.
Listen,
and so when like if you tell me that something's going on, and I'm like, "Oh, what day and what time," and then you don't give me the information, or you're like you offended because I want to put it on my calendar, it's because you don't respect boundaries.
Right. Like
you don't have to do it. I'm telling you that this is what it takes to facilitate my accountability and my involvement to be present, right? Because what other people have going on is important to me. Right? So I try to make sure that I can be there. And the only way for me to do that is for me to plan it out.
If it's on my calendar.
If it's on my calendar, yes. The girl is there.
Listen here.
If it's not,
man,
I have no clue. I'm like, I'm not there. I'm absent.
I don't know.
Because I'll see, because a lot of times what happens is I'll look and I'll be like, oh, I already committed to doing this other thing that day or during that time or whatever. So I might come late, I might come early, or I might not come because I already made another commitment.
Yeah.
But I like to be able to see that.
Same. Yeah, I'm very much so in that life now. So I'm definitely grateful that you send calendar invites to things that involve me as well. Because it's very helpful for me because I'm like, I check my calendar every morning. Like, all right, this is what you got to do. This is where it needs to be.
That's how I plan my day and my week.
Yeah.
So then when people like ask you to do something last minute, like, oh, can you do this today? No.
Yeah, no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
And sometimes my calendar is free, but it's just not what I'm mentally prepared for. So no.
Oh, the mentally prepared is a real thing.
It's a real thing.
I ain't gonna be able to do
like
that.
If somebody texted me today and was like, "Oh, can you want to go to the movie?" No.
Yeah, no.
Oh, but just no.
No thanks.
Oh, but you could just no.
I can't do that.
I could, but no.
I said no. And no is a complete sentence. No, period. Right.
Because in my mind, I'm doing this podcast and I'm getting the rest of my steps. Like, because now you're trying to interfere with my flow.
Listen.
Right? I have my own priorities and my own things that I need to do to serve me.
Exactly.
Right?
Listen.
Because if I knew that, then I probably would have been like, okay, well, let me make sure I get my steps. You know what I mean? If I could see things on my calendar, I would have been like, well, I got to make sure I get all my steps by this time because then I'm doing this and then I'm doing that and then I can go see a movie with such and such. But no.
Yeah, you would have pre-planned.
Right. Because I'm like, you ain't going to ruin. I got my own personal goals and things I'm trying to do. You ain't about to just infringe.
It's so funny because I think at this point in my life too, like I'm just so a mom where I those spontaneous people, like I can't even do none of this stuff because my kid might be at the gym. I gotta go pick him up. Like I gotta figure all of these pieces out. Like I ain't gonna be able to do it at all.
I mean, sometimes it's, I can be spontaneous, but my preference is certainly to have it on my calendar.
Yeah.
And it depends on what it costs me. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if I plan to hang with you for an hour or 2 hours, and then now this is about to turn into an all-day thing, if I really don't have anything planned and I'm good to go, fine. Right? Maybe. And if I'm up to it, but sometimes it's just like,
and that's okay.
I'm tired.
Listen,
no.
I'm going home. Yes.
Maybe next time, but I can't do it today.
Yeah. Child. I definitely understand. That's what
I think I don't like it because it feels so much like an interruption. And and I really value time, right? Like one of my love languages is time spent, right? So I don't like when people value my time. I don't like when people disrupt my time. I don't like when people are late. Like I don't like time is all I have. Yeah. That is the most precious commodity. So
that is
funny. So maybe that's why.
Hey, that's so funny.
So my way of dealing with it is just to say no,
And ain't nothing wrong with that.
Right, so you can invite me late, but I might say no.
And that's okay. As long as you're okay with it and we're okay with it and no hard feelings, but maybe on the next occasion. Who knows? So yeah, that's funny. Those non-negotiables are definitely facts for everything that you said. So,
any other non-negotiable?
No, I don't. I thought I was expecting more for you for your work ones because you was like, I have a lot.
I think that they kind of roll into each other, right?
Okay.
Like, no last minute invitations. Oh, here's another one. In the morning, I do me first.
Mm-hmm.
So when I wake up first, it's my own personal development. Then I'll work on stuff for my side business. Then I'll work on stuff for a bunch of besties. Then I work on stuff for the company.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't care if somebody in another country, it's their night and therefore my day.
Okay.
Right. And they're sending something at what would be my 6 a.m. or my 5 a.m. and I see it. It's like I don't see it.
Yeah. Because it's my time.
Because this is my own personal time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially when we working from home, like that was really important for me. Like that is a non-negotiable. Like I'm not willing to do any work for this organization before I do me first.
Yeah, because it'll take over.
It'll take over. It'll take over, and then I'll never get to me.
Exactly.
Because there's always going to be more work.
Yeah.
So, I got to do me first. So.
Yeah. Then in my own crib, like you want me to work around the clock at my house? Like no.
It ain't gonna fly.
That's out. Yeah. Mm-mm.
Another one is saying no without an explanation. I feel like, and maybe that's my answer to Brittany's question about those.
Mm-hmm.
To just say no.
Yeah, yeah. I definitely need to learn that too. Yeah.
Oh, can you know? You know, be polite about it.
Yeah, but just no is a full sentence.
Oh, do you know? Because here's the thing about no, right? It's understood in every single language. It's like the only word that means the same thing.
Yeah.
In every single language. So there is no way to misunderstand or misinterpret or not get or feign ignorance about no.
Yeah. I mean, it's like one of the first words that babies will hear, or like kids will hear, like they pick up on that one. Like,
yeah. No. So just saying no and letting that be that.
Yeah, I definitely need to work on that. I feel like I have to give an explanation or reason.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, you have to, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean it like that, like, no. Not in a snooty, like, uppity way, but more like, no, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. Or, no, thanks. You know, do you want to? No, thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. Because now I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. That's the explanation. Like, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. No. No. Period.
I don't think that's an explanation. Like, oh, do you want to go to the movies? No, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that.
I don't think I'm going to be able to do it.
Okay, I think I hear what you're saying.
Yeah, like that.
Maybe it's just giving to your point. It's just no.
It's just no.
No. Do you want to go? No.
Because I'm telling you, I don't want to do it. No. So that is the thinking.
That's
part.
True.
Like, nah.
And it's a definite. It's not a think, right?
Yeah, exactly. Right. What are we thinking about? I said no.
No, I'm not coming.
So yeah.
Would you like to? No.
Nope. Mm-mm. So yeah, I definitely want to grow in that and being comfortable in it, and on the flip side too of not taking offense when somebody tells me no, like this ain't even about you, bro. Like that was the choice that they made. Like relax.
Yeah.
So
do you get offended when people tell you
no? I'm trying to think. When did somebody tell me no? Or they was like, nah. I think when it comes to like, especially like if I want to hang out with somebody and then they be like, nah. Maybe I do get sad where I'm just like, oh, I wanted to see you and hang out. So yeah. Because my son does that often. Like, because he's so busy, he just be like, nah, I can't. And I be like, dang.
I only birthed you and held you for... No.
He is, yeah. My son, I get a lot of no's from him. Like, no, I'm not doing that. So, yeah.
So the other day I forgot when you were like, do you want to go here? And I was like, I feel like yes, but then when it comes down to it, I might feel like no. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know.
You did say, you did say no to me too about that part. And I was like, oh, but I wasn't too sold on it either myself. That's why I was like, okay. Yeah. I'm seeing what the group says.
My thing, it's crazy because I think in the moment, like when I see certain events or things going on, I get excited about it. I'm like, yes, and then I'll put it on my calendar, and then because it's like a month out, right? And then when it comes down to it, I'm like, so now this is the whole day. Like now I got 5 things to do. That's my whole weekend. Like I don't want to do that.
Yes. And trust me, I know about that.
And then if I've invested in it, then now I feel like I gotta go.
You gotta go. You spend money
and
on
I'm
it.
like, that's over break. I'm trying to be lazy and chill. I don't know. Like I might want to do it at the last minute, but
right now, it's a no. And that's okay.
No.
And that's how I felt too. Looking at my calendar this weekend, I'm like,
yeah, that's how I felt. Me too. Oh my God. I was like, wait a minute.
Just sign up for stuff and forget about it. And here we are. I'm just like, oh gosh, man.
I'm like, yep, this is gonna be a busy one.
It is. My whole weekend is full. I'm just like, oh my God, why did you do this, girl? So yeah.
Which brings me to another one, which is scheduling time for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, and apparently my reoccurring me time must have got stopped, so I'm gonna have to re-put that on my calendar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
no, on
your
calendar.
Yeah. Gotcha. Oh yeah.
I just try to block days where it's like, oh no, I'm sorry, that's where I'm planning to do nothing. I can't come.
Hey.
You know, I look forward to those days because again, time is such a precious commodity, and I do try to support different events and different people, so I do find myself pretty occupied. So sometimes I just want to do nothing, like literally sit down and do nothing. Which, oh my God, this is just a pet peeve. When people say like, oh, what are you doing on Friday? It don't matter what I'm doing on Friday. What are you asking me to do? Because I could be doing nothing or everything, and I'm still going to say no.
Right. What do you want?
What do
Start
you want?
there.
My brother do that. He'd be like, what you doing? I'd be like, what do you want?
Yeah.
What you doing? What do you want?
That
it don't matter what I'm
anxiety.
doing.
Like when people phrase it like that, like what you doing? I'm like, what is it? Like you about to ask me to do something? Like we gotta go somewhere, gotta get dressed, gotta put on clothes. Right. Like what is about to happen right now?
Exactly.
So yeah.
I'm telling him, look, mind your business.
Please.
Okay. What do you want?
Right. Start there. Start that. Don't ask me what you're doing because I don't know what I'm doing until you ask me what you want.
Exactly. Because it could still be no. It doesn't really matter. These things are not contingent upon each other. I could be doing nothing, and I could still say no to whatever it is that you're asking.
Exactly.
And that's how he. And so when he does that, he'll call and be like, "What you doing?" And I'll be like, "I'm fine. How are you?" He's like, what you doing? And I'd be like, oh yeah, mom's good, you know, blah, blah. I'll just have a whole conversation, act like he didn't say that. I'll just give him the words that he should have said.
Because we get into the what do you want?
What do you want?
Okay. Man. That is funny. Yeah, that makes me all anxious. Like, I need to know up front, what do you want? But yeah. No, that me time is important. And saying no is a complete sentence. All of those things.
Yes.
All of it.
But no, which the non-negotiable would be when people don't expect my no. I have a really big problem with that.
Yeah, as you should, because you're clearly dismissing my entire boundary.
Right.
Like in my face, though. Like what?
I do.
The audacity of you to think that that's okay for you to do that,
or like trying to talk me into something that I already said no to.
Yeah,
I don't like that either. People still disrespecting them.
Like my one no was good enough. Like we don't need to bargain. My no, I meant it. Yeah,
and it means the same in every language.
It's universal.
When you said no, I didn't know that you meant no.
Black people, no, nah.
I thought you meant no.
Like, no, nah. That's what I thought you meant. Nah. No, I meant no. N-O. That's interesting. That no in every language is the same.
Well, you know, like in French, it's no. It's N-O-N.
Is it?
But it's the same.
It's N-O-N?
Yeah.
Oh. No. You know?
You don't pronounce it like that. But if you say no, they know what you mean.
Okay. I was like, what? That's funny.
Like, that's probably the most universal word that we have. So.
I agree. And one of the first words that we will learn is no. No. Listen, babies be like, no, all the time. So, makes sense to me that this is our universal word, is no. But yeah. So, that's all I have. I can't think of any more right now.
Okay. So then what happens when we negotiate our non-negotiables?
when we negotiate our
When we
non-negotiable,
have the nerve, the audacity.
Yeah, right. I'm like, the audacity of yourself.
Right, to negotiate.
You are working in your lower self, sis. Like, you are going backwards. You are looking behind and not forward. Like, there is no negotiation. It's implied in my head in the word non-negotiable. I will not negotiate this boundary here. Either you gonna respect it or no, you're gonna part ways. So there is no negotiating a non-negotiable with anybody because it's taking you away from who you authentically are.
Yeah, I think it's when we negotiate our non-negotiables, it makes us abandon ourselves, right? And it's teaching people that they don't have to respect their boundaries.
No,
it's almost giving them the authority to continue with this behavior, right?
For sure.
The level of disrespect. So,
ooh, that kind of made me sad and mad. Like, no, we don't negotiate about non-negotiable.
Right.
Get out of here. But people will try you. So, yeah, there's that. Only if you let them.
Listen to what people say, child.
Absolutely. Only if you let them know. So,
only if you let them.
Gotta be short. Because that's what you're going to do. After you listen to this episode, you live and you learn and grow and you know better, so you'll do better.
Know better, do better.
Yeah. All of that.
Oh, so then what goes in the to-go box?
This is fun. What I'm going to take away is that my non-negotiables are just that. There are things that I'm not going to negotiate with anybody. They make me who I am. They are the core of who I am, authentically me. And if I allow somebody to negotiate with that, then I'm telling them that it's okay for me not to be me. Like, it's okay for you to not respect me or treat me as such or any of that. So that's what I'm taking away. I cannot allow people to do that. I worked hard to be the woman that I am today. And I'm not going to let you just devalue that.
And that's about it. I'm going to say, never abandon yourself. You know, never, nothing is worth having that bad, right? That you have to actually leave who you are to accommodate someone else or something else. Because it could be work too. Right? So that brings me back to something that my line sister told me 3 years ago. She said, if anything disturbs your peace, let it go.
Let it go.
Said,
yes.
I'm talking, it could be a job, it could be a man, I don't care what it is. It's not worth it. It costs too much. And that's what I think it really is that when you have to abandon yourself, the price is too high. Right? So a lot of times we are willing to accommodate or make some allowances because we're like, oh, because I'd rather have the thing than it's worth having the thing.
Yeah.
Right? That's the thought process. I still want to choose the thing, but when you have to not choose you to choose the thing, then the cost is too high. So
it's good.
Yes. So yeah, I think that kind of covers it. But real quick, I want to go to I want to give more information on Bridget's seminar.
Oh sure, yeah.
So it
Please
is
share
a
that
live webinar. It's called Strategies to Power Up Your Career. It's called Ask an HR Professional. It says, consider this a career counseling session that will answer your questions on how to win at work. Learn about remote work opportunities, steps to a better LinkedIn profile, and nailing the virtual interview. It is on Saturday, December 11th, from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. The link will be in the bio. You can register via the link. Tashonda Wright and Bridget Whitaker are hosting. They are HR professionals. They didn't put their years of experience, but I want to say it's like a combined over 20 years experience or something like that.
Yeah.
So let's get it, y'all.
Yes, I'm excited for that because, like I said, I'm kind of up in the air. Not up in the air, but I'm trying to think about what other options that are out there
And
for
they
you.
are taking
Good.
specific questions. So when you do the registration, they're like, you know, if you have a specific question or something specific that you want them to focus on, they're going to do it, and they do deliver. So
awesome. Yes, that's exciting. So make sure you register for that. It is on Zoom. Yes.
I believe so. They still said it's like, it just says it's a live webinar.
Okay,
so
yeah. So
sure
it'll
the
be
platform,
online.
but it will be online.
Yeah. So you don't have to be in Wisconsin if you are not here. This is going to be remote. So wherever you are, join us for that, which would be awesome. I also wanted to shout out, and I meant to do this earlier and when we first started, but our 100th follower on Instagram.
Oh, we restarted our Instagram.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
I was like 100.
Yes,
but
we did.
We restarted our Instagram.
We did. And it's on the ticker. So when you watch this on YouTube, we hope that you watch it. It is on there already.
The
updated.
link is in our bio. So yes. New Instagram.
Yes.
Who this? We started over. We started all the way, starting from the bottom.
Now so we can see where we're gonna get here. So
we're excited for the journey.
Yes. So thank you all.
We are not afraid to start over.
No, you can't be afraid. Be humble enough to start over and to rebuild. But shout out to our 100 follower, which was it's funny we was shouting out Bridget. So yes, Bridget, we love you. Thank you. But our 100 follower was John Ray, so we also love you too. So shout out to Sugar Ray, John Ray Stowers, being our 100th follower on our brand new Instagram page. Which is really exciting, man. I'm excited for our come up, our second come up. So make sure you follow us on Brunch with Best at Brunch with Besties Pod. Okay. On Instagram.
And John Ray is part of my accountability group. So
cool.
He's the one who sent all the messages requesting what we ate and all of that. So shout out to her.
Yes.
And her birthday just passed. 44?
44. It's her Obama year.
44th birthday.
44 rotations around the sun. Happy birthday. Scorpio season is behind us. Shout out to Sagittarius season.
Oh, no.
Sagittarius.
The Sagittarius is coming? Oh, no. I got to get on my brother about that. Because his birthday coming too, child.
They're coming full force.
And my niece.
Oh my gosh, so many of them. So everybody, all our Sagittarius.
She's not a terrorist, but...
Oh no, she's not.
She's not a terrorist.
All our Sagittarius babies, happy birthday in advance.
Yes, happy birthday in advance.
Yes, because there's a lot of y'all now.
So all the Sagittarius.
Right.
Who comes up with these things?
A mess. But yep. So happy birthday, all.
And to Ryan.
Oh yes, Ryan, we love you. Too. Happy birthday to one of our favorite Sagittarius.
She's not a terrorist.
Nope, she is not a terrorist. She's just a Sagittarius. Some of my favorite ones, and my son, whose birthday is coming, his golden birthday. So shout out to him. It's gonna be lit. So
I think it's my niece's golden birthday too. Hold on.
Is it?
Yeah, right before your son.
That is so funny.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Okay, right. I'm like,
wait a minute.
Golden birthdays are huge. I mean, mine's when I was 4, so that's kind of foul, but whatever. So yeah.
I remember mine.
Yeah,
I threw a party. Yeah,
you was fun age though.
Yeah, mine was
18. Yeah, I'm like that's a fun age to be like, it's my golden.
And it was my high school friends.
Nice.
Threw a party.
Okay. Yeah, kind of like it. I don't remember that. Maybe I wasn't there. Probably not.
I have to look back at the picture.
Right, we gotta find picture evidence because I don't remember that.
You know, I got photos, child. I don't have to go look into that.
Go on your empty crates. So yeah.
Thanks for tuning in to Brunch with Besties podcast. Until next time,
peace.